I'm calling the Working Committee of Council and Rules and Legislation for June 11th, 2026 to order at 6:16. If you have any electronic equipment, please either turn it off or put it on a silent mode. Council Clerk, would you please take roll call?
Councilman Connect.
Here.
Councilwoman Miller.
Present.
Councilwoman Sevo.
Present.
Council Vice President Taylor Draper.
Present.
Councilwoman Belich.
Here.
Councilman Jarmus Gavich.
Present.
Council President Klein.
Present. We also have with us this evening Mayor Hallam, Law Director Kenny, City Engineer DeFranco, and Finance Director Scott. We'll move into our discussion items. First item up is Ordinance 2026-036 on third reading. Council Clerk, please read the caption.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to sign any and all necessary documents to secure the purchase of a ballistic armored tactical transport armored rescue vehicle for the City Police Department from the Armored Group 5221 North Saddle Rock Drive, Phoenix, Arizona 85018 for the estimated purchase price of $381,140 and declaring an emergency.
And this ordinance is on third reading, and I'll ask if anyone has any questions, comments regarding this ordinance.
Mr. President,
Councilman Jarmus Gavich.
I think the police chief was talking about these funds come from the speed camera funds only?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Mayor?
Specifically for the school zone
School
cameras.
zone.
Yes, because that money has to be spent on things that are for school safety. And that would certainly, this would fall into that. In addition, as you may remember, it isn't only solely used for that purpose, but it certainly would be used should something come up at the schools. This unlike the other vehicle that the city of Wickliffe purchased, which is a much larger vehicle, some of you have probably seen it here at Touch a Truck. This one is much more maneuverable, able to get into other spaces and protect civilians and students from what would be a horrible situation that vehicle might have a more difficult time doing. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. President,
Mr. Scott?
just to be clear, so this money is in that school zone cutout. It is not in the 2026 budget. So if it's passed, we will have to do an appropriation adjustment to get it back into the budget. So once it passes, then you'll see that on the next meeting.
Council President,
Councilman Miller?
this is kind of a hard call for me. I'm not able to put it into words, but I cannot fully embrace that purchasing this vehicle is the right decision right now, at least. I would have liked to have been included maybe a little bit earlier in the process. I would like to see more concrete day-to-day practical use of the funds to help our students. Daily on-site initiatives. Is there enough police presence at arrival and dismissal? Do we have the resource officers needed? Programs that focus on young people seeing police, respect them, so in turn they respect the police. Some of these things are still questions that are in my mind. I've spoken to many individuals outside the city, inside the city, both people that have experience in law enforcement, and I'm just really getting a lot of mixed signals at this time. So that's where I'm coming from tonight. I just want to put that out there.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Mayor?
I will just say that the city, Willoughby East Lake Schools does handle the resource officers. That's all handled under their domain. They do, I've asked them whether the city of Willoughby Hills in particular with our School of Innovation, they said they don't have any issues there, that there is no need there. Our schools, our police department does participate with many things over at School of Innovation, and as well as anything other that the other local departments are doing with the schools. They do participate in those things. At the end of the day, as the chief has said many times, we are a proactive police force. And in that vein, if you will, this is something that will be used to protect our children. And to me, I'd rather not wait till something happens to wish we'd had it. I'd rather have it when we need it. And God willing, we will never need it for that purpose. Thank you.
Council President,
Councilman Miller.
just in response, I see that's an easygoing thing with the Willoughby East Lake School that we have here, Soy. My concerns, maybe even Cornerstone is an easy one to get along with it, but I also wonder about education alternatives. Are we doing enough in there to be proactive with the students that are there, their safety and things like that? So that's what I'd like to see more of occurring with maybe the speed camera monies, initiatives within the school to help support good relations.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Mayor.
Perhaps it's possible that council's unaware, but our police chief actually works at Cornerstone Christian Academy often and acts as a SRO there, as well as I think some of our other officers may also. So they are very involved there. As far as educational alternatives, from all my understanding, they will be leaving the city very soon. And so that will no longer be of concern. However, I know that we do spend quite a bit of time over there as well. So I certainly appreciate those concerns, and I think they're valid, and I'm glad that to be able to say that we do a lot of participation on those levels. So thank you for bringing them up. I appreciate giving me an opportunity to speak to those.
Council President,
Councilman Connect.
I would like to thank the police chief for bringing this forward. I think this is just another example of him being proactive. In today's world, you can't be too prepared, and I think this is something that will be an asset not only to the city but surrounding communities. If something catastrophic does happen where there's a situation where this vehicle can make a difference and save lives, we would all be sitting here thanking ourselves for voting yes on this.
All right, if there are no other comments, we'll move on. Next is ordinance 2026-037 on first reading. Council Clerk, please read the caption.
An ordinance to declare 6 police speed lasers as surplus property pursuant to Article 6 legislation, Section 6.01, General Ordinances, subsection E of the Charter of the City of Willoughby Hills and declaring an emergency.
And does anyone have any questions, comments on this ordinance?
Mr. President,
Councilman Jeremy Scavage.
were these 6 surplus laser being replaced by something else? New ones?
Yes, they were replaced. These are non-working for the most part or needing some repairs, so they're not of any value, except for I think like 2 or 3 of them are in okay shape, and I think those are being donated to another municipality that can't afford to buy them. So we're helping some other law enforcement agencies.
All right, if there are no other questions or comments on this ordinance, we'll move on. Next is Resolution 2026-010 on second reading. Council Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution adopting a tax budget for the fiscal year 2027 for the City of Willoughby Hills.
And as this states, this is the 2027 tax budget preceding the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. There will be a public hearing on this tax budget, but I will open this up for questions or comments. I'll ask Mr. Scott if there's anything during the working committee now that he wishes to say on this.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to cover it in the report a little bit later, but just since we have a little bit of time, the format that I have created the budget in is the same format that the county has provided for the last, I'm told, years. We recently learned, when I got the email, I'll be honest, I didn't even open up the attachment. I just created the budget based on prior templates. I found out earlier this week that they have completely revamped the entire reporting structure. Now, the numbers on these sheets are not going to change other than they're going to get significantly more spread out. So instead of the general fund just having this one little section here, it's now 5 pages. So the Budget Commission is giving us a little bit additional homework. So I promise that I will have that done before the next council meeting. But like I said, the numbers themselves will not change. It's just the presentation of the numbers. Thank you.
All right. If there are no questions or comments, we'll move on. And what I'd like to do before going to public portion, since we have some time, because if we hurry through, there'll be a long gap before the regular meeting starts, which cannot start before 7. I would like to revisit a couple things from our last meeting. First being the discussion and presentation on short-term rentals. And I would like to open up for, based on what we had discussed 2 weeks ago, questions, comments regarding short-term rentals. There was a little bit of additional information that was sent out, which I couldn't put my hands on 2 weeks ago regarding the different qualifications under national historical sites. So I'll open up for comments, questions at this point.
Mr. President,
Councilman Jermiscavige.
who actually designates a property as a national historical site?
Well, it's,
The
I've got-
city, the state, the county, the government?
no, it's national.
National.
Well, yeah, it's through the National Park Service. They have the database. Recommendations come in to them for them to do their analysis and review. And just the piece of information that has been provided, just briefly for the benefit of anyone listening or here. The factors that the government considers, and it's not that all of these have to be subject. It can qualify under any one of them. The first is significance in history. And they state property is associated with events that have made a significant contribution to the broad pattern of our history. Another one is significance in the lives of people. That property should be associated with the lives of persons significant in our past. Then there's architectural significance, which talks about there being distinctive characteristics of a type, period, or method of construction, or represent the work of a master, or possess high artistic values. And then the last one is archological significance. And this is going back, the property being able to yield information important in prehistory or history. And the one that we've included here in discussion about changing or creating an ordinance in which would involve a land use change is having it centered on architectural significance. And of course, we're doing this specifically due to the fact that we have 2 Frank Lloyd Wright homes here in the city, which is quite an unusual situation and something for us to be very proud of. So I will again ask if we have comments, other comments regarding how we want to move forward on this. Well, let me change that a little. Uh, Does council want to move forward on this? Right now, there are no short-term rentals allowed in the city. That was settled through court. So anywhere there may happen to be a short-term rental operating now, they're operating illegally. And quite frankly, it's difficult to try and restrict some short-term rentals that are operating that we may not want them to and allow others arbitrarily.
Mr. President,
Councilman Jeremy Scavich.
I think we should move forward with establishing some ground rules for allowing the Frank Lloyd Wright homes as historical sites to be a short-term rental in our city, and still be able to pursue the ones that are still violating the law, that still are using Airbnbs in the city. I've heard several other, they're still operating, whatever. I'm not exactly sure where, but I've heard comments about different places. They are still operating as business as usual. I don't know if we have someone that goes out and checks on them or looks at them, or what department that would even fall under.
Well, it does come under the service department in terms of checking, and it's quite easy to check because they're listed on some of the listing sites like Airbnb.
But do we do that, or
I'm sorry?
do we proactively check that, or go after that, or just wait to hear from somebody?
No, we do keep up on that, and there has been notices put up repeatedly on some of these locations, but if there's some that we're not actively trying to shut down, then it's hard for the others to respond if they see this. Now, well, at this point, what we have is a proposal, a very rough draft of taking an ordinance that was originally developed by the law director in 2021, refining eligible properties eligible for short-term status by being listed as a historical site for architectural significance, which would be the Frank Lloyd Wright original home, and also we're tying in the second home, River Rock, because of its interrelationship and connection to the Penfield home and the story there. So if somebody comes along and has a house that can get qualified and listed in the National Registry for architectural significance, then they would certainly qualify if they wanted to be set up or as a short-term rental. But that would mean that if you don't have that distinction, you wouldn't be allowed to operate as short-term rental in the city.
Well, the ordinance proposing will establish that?
It would limit the short-term rental properties to those that are listed for architectural significance. And we would include in that factors such as necessary to file for a permit, an annual licensing, inspections, fire department, the other regulations about how many people can be in the property as part of the renting at any time. And I will say that if you go on to the Frank Lloyd Wright Penfield website, they have their own rules set up for number of people that can occupy, cars that can be there, which are right in line with the draft that was originally proposed. So there's some tweaking, some adjustments, but we can move forward and have something before council, I believe, at the next meeting to review in more detail.
All right, thank you.
Council President,
Council Vice President.
I am comfortable having the historical aspect be the exception to our ordinance. So I'm ready to move forward with that.
Council President,
Councilwoman Miller.
I agree that we should go ahead and move forward with the ordinance and specifically designate the historical architectural category.
And just to further emphasize, 20-some years ago, there was an ordinance passed here dealing with admissions tax. And I can't tell you what the whole ordinance related to and how it came into being, but the ordinance carved out a section that said specifically that historical sites were not subject to the admittance tax. And that was done specifically to get the Frank Lloyd Wright home, Penfield home only at that time, out from this admissions tax. So there is a precedent for doing something regarding these historic sites.
Mr. President,
Mr. DeFranco.
so just to clarify, is the Penfield House on the National Historic Registry?
Yes, the only structure in the city of Willoughby Hills that's on the National Registry is the Penfield House.
And so to operate as a short-term rental, someone would be required to be on the registry.
Yes.
So what about the new River Rock House?
Well, as I was saying, defining, right now, the draft ordinance states that the property would have to be on the National Registry or closely affiliated with it. Now, that terminology, could be tweaked, but the idea being those two properties are so interrelated that they should be considered under the same category. And at the same time, I will tell you that it is possible, and I'll read it right here. This is regarding qualifying for historical status. Generally, properties must be at least 50 years old to be eligible. However, properties less than 50 years old may qualify if they are exceptionally important. Now, River Rock, I think, is, since it's the last home designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. The plans for it were sitting on his easel when he passed away. I've tried to reach Sarah Dykstra there. They may be, I don't know, they may be planning to file to get that status right now. But from our standpoint, I thought, well, let's tie the two together from the standpoint of saying either would be qualify for a short-term rental status.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'd have to prepare the language very specific because I can see people saying, well, my house is, the arts and crafts style or Usonian, which was a Frank Lloyd Wright style, so I should qualify too. It becomes subjective. Who's going to make that decision on what, if you're not on the National Registry, it becomes kind of subjective, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, we're saying, we're saying Penfield would certainly qualify. It's on the National Registry. Then we're taking another step saying, well, River Rock, if you look at the history, what happened with Penfield's home, how they almost lost it when I-90 was going to cut right through the house. It was, and so immediately, Penfield went out, got Wright to design another home for that location, and he did. And then the freeway was moved, so the Penfield home was spared, and they had the design for it, and it eventually was built on the exact location, in the exact spot that Wright designed it for. Granted, it's not on the registry itself, but the two are so interconnected together that it's hard to find, I think, an exception that says that River Rock wouldn't be as unique as Penfield. Okay, well, we'll move forward, have something for council to look at in detail. Maybe by the next meeting, I'll be able to have reached Dykstra, and maybe she'll tell us they've applied for historical status, but we'll see on that. The other area that came up at the last meeting was on the manner of sanctioning groups. And two members of the audience came up and read statements regarding sanctioning, gave us copies. Everybody on council received a copy. And I'd like to, if anyone has had a chance to go through any of that, to get their comments. I did go through it. I spoke with Celia, our rec coordinator, on this, but I'd like to open up, see if people here have comments on where we are on sanctioning. Councilman Jermiscavige.
I was just curious, I was at the last meeting, I was out of town, but I watched the meeting. What were the specific concerns of, I mean, we talked about this before in depth for like a month or two before we even
Yeah.
put something through, and then all of a sudden, something was wrong with it.
Well,
I know they were complaining about not enough hours, which I said we would address
Right.
at the end of the year.
Right.
Evaluate, because this is something we didn't even have before. And we wanted to start somewhere and then build on it. I know you can't build Rome in a day. Take one step at a time, see if okay, this worked, this didn't work. Now we'll add or take away from it. What were the specific concerns?
well, two groups that applied for and got sanctioning status are not Willoughby Hills groups. The membership is not composed of people from Willoughby Hills. The comment was made, well, it should be not, right now it says a Willoughby Hills group, this is roughly the wording, Willoughby Hills group or a group that is there for civic, the charitable purposes. So from the people that spoke, they would like to see that changed, that it's both, that it's and. Willoughby Hills Group and it's a civic or charitable organization. Now, this has been in place for almost 6 months, and there's two groups that applied and got sanctioning. And quite frankly, it's, in my opinion, if we made a change on that now, we can't throw those two groups out. They're in,
Till the end of the year.
yeah. And it's, I'm not aware that there's a long list of other groups that want to get in right now. So it would seem to make sense, if that's a good modification, then we do that starting in 2027.
That's what I was agree with. There's like a few groups, like League of Women Voters. They're not really Willoughby Hills, but they serve a public. The Fraternal Order of Police, they're not really a Willoughby Hills, but they do serve a public.
Mr. Chair, just because I think that we missed one point, and I think you'll remember this, Council Jarmiscavige, is that I think it was either that it was comprised somewhat of Willoughby Hills residents or benefited Willoughby Hills residents. And that's the piece they felt, at least that's what I took away from it, that's what was missing, that it had to be either made up of residents, some residents on it at least, or it had to at least benefit our residents, like the League of Women Voters do, like the FOP does. There is benefits to Willoughby Hills from those groups as well, but they felt like a couple of these groups are not made up of residents of any kind at all, and they fully admitted, according to the people who spoke, they did not benefit Willoughby Hills residents in any way, shape, or form, and that's why they felt that was not, that they
Did
shouldn't be.
specifically mention the groups, which ones they were?
I don't think, did they give it on paper or anything? Okay, no, I think one might have been like another quilt group.
There was
is
a
my
couple of them that
recollection.
went through the sanctioning that did a lot of donating stuff to charitable organizations and stuff, which I'm not sure if that, the way it is worded now, allowed that, this be for a community. I'm not sure, I think, like I said, I wasn't at the meeting last time. There seem to be a lot more groups in the past that applied for the sanctioning than they do right now.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, may I?
No, go, continue.
I think that you're right, Councilor Jarvis, that we wanted to see how, I think everybody here wanted to see, let's see how it works. Could it be improved? Probably. I mean, yeah, I mean, it may be, but let's see what it does, and then I think you're right, we can look at it, maybe in November,
Yeah.
October, November, and go, all right, what did we learn? How can we?
Most
maybe-
we were planning on doing
Yeah.
October, getting ready.
So
for
I think you're
sanctions
right
again
about that. I
in
mean,
December.
at this point, even if you wanted to change it, I mean, it's not going to
halfway
get changed till
through.
July, August, September. I mean, 3 more months, we'll be looking at it anyway. And this way, we're not creating a ruckus, if you will. So, thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Miller.
I'm also thinking that the ladies that came forward are also thinking that maybe the Recreation Commission itself, not necessarily, with Joe being not always there, is not understanding what the sanctioning ordinance actually is. And I think that was part of it as well.
Well, it comes down to whether we should continue on the way we are, and then, as we plan to do anyway, and will do, review it, make any modifications or changes in the fall, so that at the start of 2027, changes are made, and there's no delays, and we don't have to hurry up and try and put through changes which we may find 3 or 4 months later we didn't study enough.
Yeah, I agree. Sometime in October, we should start reviewing it. November, finalize it, and have the registrations out by the beginning of December for the following year.
I
All right,
agree.
Are we all in agreement? Okay, then we'll follow through on that. And then we will go to public portion. This opportunity for the public to address council concerning anything pertaining to tonight's agenda, and I will open public portion at 6:50 PM.
Jen Vero, 2890 SOM. I just had a couple comments in regards to the discussion on the SWAT vehicle. I'm not sure, I know this is third reading. I don't know if that means that you all must vote this evening. I think you guys are hurrying this through. I couldn't agree more with Vicki. I think your concerns are very legitimate, and I think there needs to be more discussion. We are a very small city to expend out this kind of cost. And in the discussion of the schools, we've mentioned the 3 schools in Willoughby Hills and one that may be leaving, according to the mayor. And I am under the impression that the Christian school may be leaving in the near future. So again, if we're down to 1 school, I don't know why we're expending this kind of money on a vehicle for other cities. There is a sheriff's department that has the SWAT vehicles. and there are enough other technical type of vehicles to assist in an emergency situation. So I'm kind of concerned as to why this is wanted so badly. And finally, I just still truly question if the money is legitimately being used in regards to the ticket money. There's very specified rules to it, and I was under the impression that it was something that could only be used for school safety. So if you stretch that out and you're using it for other things like something in an apartment or something outside of a school safety, are we violating the purposes of the school ticket money? Thank you.
Anyone else for public portion? All right, I will close public portion then at 6:52 PM. And I will ask if there's anyone on the dais who would like to respond to any of the comments made during public portion. All right, we'll then move on to the legislation. If anyone has any questions, comments to the wording of any of the ordinance or resolution on the agenda here, we would like to hear their comments, questions, concerns. All right, hearing none, the chair will accept a motion to adjourn the working committee.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Bella, second from Councilwoman Miller to adjourn the working committee of council and rules and legislation. Council clerk, please take the roll call.
Councilman Connect,
Yes.
Councilwoman Miller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sebo,
Yes.
Council Vice President Taylor Draper,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bellich,
Yes.
Councilman Jarmus-Gavich,
Yes.
Council President Klein.
Yes. Working Committee of Council and Rules and Legislation for June 11th, 2026 is adjourned at 6:53. The public hearing and the regular meeting of council will commence at 7 PM. Thank you.